What's up, YouTube? It's Detroit John back with another episode of Jontalks. Before we get into it, if you would consider subscribing, it makes a big impact on my channel. I'm at 228, trying to get to 1,000. And again, I would just really appreciate if you would consider hitting that subscribe button. So Pistons lose, guys. Let's get straight into it today, though. So I wanted to start by saying we had the number one scoring bench in the entire league. So we have the number one bench in the entire league with the worst record in the entire league. It makes no sense. And we had games like, versus the Nets where we win. Just, the last game that we played great. Everybody played great. And everything was going great. And this is what I'm talking about, man, where I praise them and I say good things, but when you do stuff like this, when you play bad like this, I gotta comment, and I gotta say what's real, and I gotta say what's really happening. Even though Isaiah had 17 tonight, guys, when Mason Plumlee gets healthy and he's ready to come back, they'll diminish his role once again. Okay, the 17 points means nothing. You know why? Because Sadiq Bey scored 15 versus the Nets, and his role was diminished tonight. And we've seen this tit for tat, back and forth thing this whole season. It's clear what's happening. He's basically, trying to avoid the best players and the best rotations on our team, what's going to help us win. And a lot of the people in the Pistons community don't understand it, and they're saying, "Oh, we're not tanking." And so if we're not tanking, then what are we doing? I don't know. We're not developing our team. We're not necessarily tanking because we're not necessarily a bad team. If you guys think we're the worst team in the NBA, you're mistaken. You're totally wrong. And that will show as the season goes on, as we continue to play different teams. And these players are going to continue to get off. And players like Wayne Ellington playing the whole third quarter tonight. Again, you're taking things ad nauseum, things that don't need to be. You're pushing them beyond what they need to be. He does not need to be in for 24, close to 30 minutes when he's 1 for 6. Okay, so we're starting to see those bad habits continuing and coming back. Unfortunately, they're not going to change. We're going to see this continue. But tonight, I thought Josh Jackson played well, and I wanted to highlight him. I think he's cleaning up his efficiency, so he's starting to do more things that I think high IQ players do, and I really think he's growing right before our eyes. He's becoming a focal point, and now he's getting to the point where you're saying, okay, well, if Wayne Ellington is 1 for 6, he's not scoring, it's been like this for the last 3-4 games now, it's gonna continue. He's not a good player. I've been saying this. And now you have Josh Jackson on the bench. Now it's looking a little bit crazy that, he's not getting time. And it was looking even crazy tonight. Like he was on a bit of a leash, and that now they're holding him back a little bit. So now you're getting a little bit more into an area that we weren't before with Josh Jackson. And so I don't know how far this is going to go, to what lengths Dwayne Casey is going to push this thing, but sooner or later the bubble is going to have to pop, and something is going to some repercussions are going to have to come from doing this, okay, because it's not developing anybody. Sadiq had to get the 10 points that he had tonight in garbage time. He didn't even have the space and room in the ball and the opportunity to have an effect. You had Jeremy Grant, who I think is a great player. And honestly, I don't want to hear anybody say anything about him because he's been great for us every game this season. And having one bad game is whatever to me because he's been great every game this season. But even tonight, if he's off and he's cold and he's not scoring the ball and it's the fourth quarter and he has 7 or 9 points or whatever he has, I mean, literally he had like 7 points and he was like 2 for 8. So it's like, why are you taking out Sadiq Bey, who's getting his shot going and playing defense, for Jeremy Grant? There's just no point in that point. But that's just the little, tiny things that I don't even like to get into anymore because I know those things are not going to change. And I know for some reason this show is going to continue. And we're going to have to continue to watch this pretty much for the whole season, it's looking like, with no changes to anything. Even like Sekou got his shot going tonight, and nothing will come of it. And I've talked about how egregious, the whole story of Sekou, how that's been and what they've done to him. So I'll see you guys in the next game. You guys definitely have a blessed day. Don't let this get you down. I stopped letting them get me down because I know this is going to continue, but eventually it's going to come back on Troy Weaver and it's going to have to pop. So I'll wait to see the next game. Again, it's flipping and flopping. So maybe next game he'll have to do the right thing, and then he'll come back and do the wrong thing again. So they won't string two. They have not strung two games back to back this whole season. That's what I want to end this off with. This whole season they have not strung two games back to back. And once again, Isaiah Stewart scoring 17 points will mean nothing, because just like Sadiq Bey scoring 15 versus the Nets and not getting any role expansion tonight, not getting any more playing time, not getting anything tonight, the same thing will happen to Isaiah when Plumlee gets healthy. So there's no rationality to it. There's nothing to say. You guys have a blessed day.